We're back at it again. Episode 3 of the LG Snapshot here on LeagueGaming.com. The views and expressions of this show right here, do not reflect those of LeagueGaming.com's staff or anything else like that. It's just our stuff. We are back at it. Week 3, it begins right now. The toxicity of our city. Up on the show tonight, we have, of course, our 3 stars and 3 scratches. Topics across every league, as we do every single week, including the trade deadline, all-stars, and late signups. Of course, we're taking your questions over on Twitter, hashtag LG Snapshot. We are also chatting with you guys in the chat box on LeagueGaming.com, over on our threads, or of course live on YouTube, because that's how we roll. Go over there, we'll be chatting with you, and stay tuned after for the final shot, where we go off the record for 30 minutes or so. Doesn't matter, however long. We talk to you guys about what you want to talk about. But I can't do any of that without a bunch of great people that need to help me out, talk about this stuff, because I don't know what I'm saying. I just talk and sound good behind the microphone. First, introducing my CHL liaison of media. You may know him as Powdah P.
What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. Just enjoying the light hockey week.
It's nice. Happy Canada Day, by the way, to everyone who is part of that thing. I don't understand it. It's fine. All I know is free agency starts on Canada Day, which is good. I want to bring in the next person who you might know as that write-up guy or hashtag rogue media. Something about a pond and being over it in a news. I don't know how it works. Sev09.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you guys tonight?
How's it going, Sev?
Pretty good. I got traded.
You
to the
did?
One team in real life I hate.
It's pretty great if you really think about it. It's fitting for you.
Oh, it's ironic as hell.
It is. Want to introduce, and by the way, your mic is working tonight. I want to make sure I point that out. Your mic is working.
It is working.
How's that working for you?
Hashtag powered by Xbox One. So
what were you using last week that caused the problem?
I was on the computer and the mic just died.
Just died.
Just died. Won't work at all anymore for anything.
Okay. Well, now you have an Xbox One mic that works. Look at that. See, this is progress.
There we go.
This is all you need in life. So I'm glad you're back on, because I think we're going to break some records here. We're going to have you on, and we're going to have Eric E. Rice Eric, 30 Eric, on the show right now.
Until his computer dies.
Yes.
Until his computer dies from a malfunction. But great to be here. Let's rock and roll.
Good to have you on, Eric. 2 weeks in a row, bud.
The more the merrier. Let's roll.
And then we want to make sure we bring on a special guest. We're taking our first guest of Season 2 of the LG Snapshot. You may know him as KB Smith. We all know him as somebody who's been in virtual hockey leagues since before they were even created. KB Smith, how's it going?
Hey, glad to be here.
Glad to have you on. You are our first inaugural guest here on the Snapshot. How does that feel?
Feels great, really. I'm kind of sad I missed the first show. Had a lot of great topics on there.
There were a lot of great topics, and if anyone else has missed any of our episodes, they are on YouTube. Go over to LeagueGaming.com, click the LG Media tab. The Media tab, the only place where official media gets posted. So if you want to join the media team, this is my plug for you to do that. You get full exposure, syndication, posting to articles, RSS feeds, iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff happens as part of the official media team. Message myself, Sev09, or Powdah P for more information. So tonight we have a bunch of stuff, but before we get into that, I want Smith to talk quickly here about how his season is going thus far.
Going very well, actually. On top of the West, but we cannot beat anyone in our division for some reason, but still going very well. Hopefully we can get back on track and beating people actually in our division.
Are you looking to make some trades down the line?
I've never really been a trading guy. I've only do 1 or 2 trades a season, so we did just trade a goalie away to get another goalie, and it's maybe the only one we'll do for the whole season.
Very good. Well, we'll get into some more trades here in a little bit later on in the show. Make sure you're tweeting us your questions, comments, concerns, queries, and curiosities using hashtag LG Snapshot. We'll mention them on the show a little bit later on. But first, let's get down into the CHL. We have a lot going on down in the Q, down in the dub, and Powdah P, has it all. One of the topics on the docket for tonight, and that's going around the league, is salaries. It's been a hot point discussion, Powdah P, right?
Oh, definitely been a hot point. It's however, it wasn't one of the key points of the week. However, the show lineup is already slated to have some of the more interesting topics later on, which is perfect because all the good stuff happens on the main card, and the main event will be later. However, salaries, in my opinion, have honestly just taken hold of this league and made it everything it's not supposed to be. CHL is a developmental league where these players are supposed to come in, join the league, and understand basically the beginnings of how sixes hockey works. And it feels like people have found ways to use the salaries to manipulate, avoiding call-ups, how being able to sneak in those 500K players that nobody else knows, the late sign-ups, all the people that basically almost every other topic we discussed throughout tonight will come back to salaries. If the trend that's continued on Snapshot of referring back to old topics, this is going to be the one for the night, is salaries. Everybody's going to keep talking salaries. It's just something that we need to cap it off to basically ensure everybody's on that same playing field in the long run.
So you want something like an entry-level contract, so to speak.
Exactly.
Sev, what's your thoughts on that?
This was something that I had discussed with Brody when the merger actually happened. We were looking at, how do we do the league better than we had it in the VHL? How do we fix call-ups? How do we fix a bunch of different things? Initially, I brought I think it was a 60, 35, 15 breakup to the salary cap, so that way, even if you had a player that was really expensive, say in the CHL, he was still able to move all the way up to the NHL if he was good enough.
Yeah, and you make a valid point, right? So anyone who's played a lot of time down in the CHL knows moving up is difficult. I saw what you did we'll call it merger. That's kind of been the word that we'll use. Eric, you've spent a lot of time down in the CHL. I think you were a GM for 3 seasons. What's your thoughts on putting a cap on how much a CHL player can make so that they can move up in the league?
I don't know if there should definitely be a hard cap defined on any player. I think maybe GM should be smarter. Maybe there should be an increase in the salary cap in the CHL, but as per a cap on players, no, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, I understand what the guys are getting at, and yes, sometimes it does get abused. For example, Breck Easy with his $9 million contract, but I mean, it's just that we do need to give those players an opportunity to come up somehow, but it's also on management as well. I mean, who bids $9 million on one guy? Are you crazy?
The key to that bid, though, is it wasn't just a $9 million bid. It was a $5.5 million that jumped to $9 million in the course of one transaction.
If only we were getting paid
at the same point on Breck Easy, you have to realize I acquired him last season for 2.5, maybe 3, somewhere in that general range. He was on, I would want to say it was Albany, and he was traded a couple times. Many teams had the cap rooms to call him up, and no one did. So while he's $9 million this year, he could have been in the AHL. He was in bidding. He went all the way through bidding. He wasn't a late sign-up. So he didn't, and he said he didn't scout. So, I mean, there was the opportunity for that player in this instance to easily move up or to be picked in the AHL, and he wasn't either considered good enough or whatever the reason was that the GMs passed on him. He just wasn't there.
KB Smith, you're one of the guys right now that does have this become either a potential problem or a potential good thing for you, being someone who's involved in Abbotsford. What's your take on all this?
Are we talking about setting a cap, like let's say someone places a $5 million bid and that's the cap and that it won't go up any higher? What are we talking about the cap here? Individual
player caps to basically make sure that someone's not getting overbid intentionally to avoid that player from being called up. Okay. And being able to allow that player to be moved throughout the process of the league, AHL, NHL, and back down to the CHL without his salary being an issue, as a CHL or a salary shouldn't be the controlling factor on someone's call-up or not.
Right. It's really hard to set caps because that player could go up to $5 million and that team gets him, right? That's it?
Well, and that just brings up the next point is not the next point, but the other theory is do we do like a silent bidding type where a team can throw their bid in the hat, but nobody else knows who's getting, and then when the time, when it gets to that point, we'll figure out who actually had the best bid for that person.
Interesting.
Instead of a competitive bidding system, which some people are just getting bid on because they don't want to see so-and-so get a player cheap or whatever. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole new day, I think, on that one. That's
that
Pandora's
could take
box.
an entire show.
Yeah.
Wow.
But at the same point, just putting a distance between the caps in each league would allow that, almost that soft cap, but not that where it's a silent bidding. It doesn't, reinvent the wheel and make Tris have to make a brand new bidding system in the off season. And there's a lot of different things we can do to make almost a player cap, but at the same point not restrict or change too many things.
Seb, that raises a good point too, because you had also mentioned, I believe, lowering the amount of incremental bids to a lower dollar amount. Is that right?
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was a couple thousand words worth of proposal.
Yeah, there was a couple thousand words, but I remember it being, let's just make up a number, like $100,000 instead of $500,000, right? Yeah. So if you start restricting owners to only be able to bid on smaller bids in increments, so you can't just go out and put a bid out for $3 million. You have to make it on an incremental level. You're giving more value to the justification of doing the process. Eric, you don't seem to agree.
I really don't think it comes down to smaller bids. I think it comes down to maybe a larger salary cap, to be honest. I mean, maybe give the CHL and the AHL a $30 million cap and keep the bids. The bids are fine at $250. I mean, I come from the old school where it was $500K and that was it. I mean, $250 is fine. To go lower just doesn't make any sense to me.
And I don't think keeping the AHL and the CHL at the same salary caps is a smart move anyways, if you want an upward flow.
Should a guy in the CHL make $9 million is the question, right?
No.
And if the answer is no...
I mean, Pete in the AHL makes $7 million as a goalie. I mean, there's always going to be that player that's ridiculously overbid, regardless of what level it is.
There is, but then I have to go back to simulation of real life. And I know there's always limitations on what we can do to make it real. But in this instance, bear with me when I say that a Jonathan Drouin or a Nathan McKinnon can only make a max of, $925,000, right? There's an amount. There's a max amount that an entry-level contract can be to play hockey. I mean, when you draft the guy and he exists inside your system, should that be an implementation here in League Gaming?
I think there should be in some way to reflect that, not necessarily that exact system, but a way to reflect that that's the way it's done in real life. That we have a limit. That once you hit that certain limit, that's the max they can make, or even better. Let's say we go back to my silent bidding idea. You take 4 people got the max bid. Let's just say $1 million. Let's just say $1 million, just for simple number purposes. And now that player has 4 contracts on the table. He gets to make a choice.
Yeah, that opens up something interesting too.
It does open up a lot of problems, but that's where you go with it.
Yeah. What?
Somebody yelling?
What?
I said yikes.
Yikes. Oh, got it.
Give the players the power to choose where they play.
If 4 teams max bid on them, why not?
Oh, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. I think it would be a very interesting social experiment.
It would definitely be an interesting social experiment.
So Americans would fail, and the people north of the border would excel here.
Whoa! I take offense to that. I mean, I'm gonna build a playoff team regardless.
All right, let's table that conversation for now, because obviously we can go anywhere with that, and if we have some time, we'll come back to it. Let's move on, though. We'll step up just a little bit. Speaking of moving up in the leagues, we will do that now to the AHL, where Eric is talking about some division battles. We're just about halfway through the season. We have the All-Star break coming up. More on that later. But for right now, what are we looking like in the A? Who's hot, who's not?
Who's hot, who's not?
Tell me who rocked. Who sell out the stores? No, that's a different song. I'm sorry. Eric, go ahead.
That's a totally different song. Who's kind of cold right now? The mighty Providence Bruins. They're a 500 team through their last 10. And Portland, even though they're back by 10 points, they're trying to make a run. It'll be an interesting battle to watch the rest of the season. Albany, once again, in control of their own destiny. 14 points up. They're definitely going to be able to make some noise, and it's really all up to them to pretty much avenge last season's keel to the side, left on the side of the road dead. Behind them is the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games, but they got a lot of ground to cover, and Albany's definitely going to be a tough team to cover that ground on. The Eastern East, it's a great battle right now, even though it's a 10-point difference. WBS could definitely make some noise. They got some good players. I know they're definitely working some trades. They're trying to bring in some more talent. WBS might be able to catch Norfolk, but highly doubtful because the Admirals have the best defense in the league. Onto the West and the Western North, you got another battle, another season for the division title. It's a 1-point lead right now, held by the Rochester Americans. Lake Erie's in second place, and that's probably going to be a dogfight the entire season. That division usually is. Western Midwest, Chicago Wolves, first place. They have the worst defense of any first place team in the league. They've allowed the most goals by any first place team in their division with 136. I was definitely getting their stuff together. They're hot. They're 7-3 in the last 10. Tats knows what he's doing. Transitions knows what he's doing. Those guys are definitely going to make a run. They're 3 points back right now, and we'll see how it goes the rest of the season. And then Mr. KB Smith's team, the most dominant team in the West. We've been chasing them all season over here in Lake Erie. He's 7 points up on the Texas Stars, and Texas was the favorite in that division coming into the season, but Abbotsford has done a hell of a job, and right now they hold a 7-point lead with pretty much at the halfway point. So it should be an interesting fight, and I think Abbotsford will hold on and take that division as well.
Definitely. You know, we can look at stats all day long, and we can see, okay, this person's above whoever else, and the records kind of show. But KB Smith, you being one of the GMs, and since we brought you on to give us a different take on some of these things going on in the league, who stands out to you as a competition to you right now?
To me in the West, definitely the Stars, absolutely. They beat us almost every time. They get a great team. Seems like they've been hurt by their NHL team with some call-ups, but I still feel they could come back at any time like they did last season on us too. So I would say second, maybe whoever wins that division in the Americans and Monsters for sure. Kraft seems to finally got his roster set and seems to be taking the run. So we'll see.
And Seth, how's it look like from up where you are? I know you always try to keep tabs on what's happening below you.
With the playoff chase, I mean, really, Norfolk has to be. They have something special going on. I know Bhawk, as Eric had mentioned, got his, I believe it was his 50th career win in Norfolk now, and they have something special. I mean, Albany's going to be the powerhouse. You know, Jeff and Maxwell have done it for 2 seasons. Obviously had the less than desired effect in the playoffs last season, and Providence has been going through stuff. I know that there's a topic we'll touch on with one of Providence's GMs later in the show, but I don't know if that's bleeding into the team with him having to take some time out and potentially leaving the league after a huge situation. But there's really, with the 3 teams tied, Providence, Albany, and Norfolk all have the same amount of points. It's a very interesting race right there.
Eric, you want to chime in on this? Nope, we lost Eric. Okay, that's a problem. Eric wanted to. We use a chat service when we're also on this, so we can keep in communication with each other. Eric wanted to know, KB, in the battle between Lake Erie and Rochester, who you got?
I go with the Monsters. They just have more depth, more team chemistry. Crafts seems to just now got it on the road straightened out, and don't know if that's going to hold up or not, but Lake Erie's been up there the whole time, so we'll see.
When we get to the playoff race, it really does come down to depth, right? So you can't lose as many games if you're fighting for a spot. Now, if you're at the top, that's fine, but like Eric was mentioning, the 1-point lead, the 3-point lead, that is decided by that third line. Now, KB, on your side, what do you look for when you try to find that third line winger or that third line defender? What are the traits that you need out of that person as opposed to a top scoring forward?
Availability. You gotta put them in the games that you need them in. If you need them in a lower game, they can't go against Albany or I mean, they can, but you don't want them to. So you got to have them available for games, and that's what I look for. I look for defensive centers. I look for good scoring wingers and availability. Absolutely availability.
So this is a message to all the CHLers, right? Put your availability in, and you might get some playing time, right?
Oh yeah,
I know about that.
Yeah, Powder knows all about that, right?
Stealing spots.
Oh, don't even start. We're gonna get into that in the final shot, and you will have your moment to defend, and we will do this. But speaking of getting the call ups and making a run for the playoffs, who's making a run for the playoffs? Right, we have the trade deadline coming up not too long from now, and someone's got to make some moves here. So we have a bunch of teams that are on that cusp of, do they try or do they just tank it? I mean, this is virtual hockey, so there's less to really, quote, play for, but you do have teams that sometimes don't really push instead of just kind of be complacent. So, Sev, we'll start with you up in the show. Number one guy that should be selling right now, number one guy that should be buying right meow.
Number one guy? Oh, there's plenty of buyers right now. Yeah, especially you just look at the East, you have Columbus just inside the playoffs. Same, Carolina just out. New York Islanders need to figure out something. A really solid team, went to the finals last year, but on a 4-game losing streak and on the cusp of falling out of the playoffs. Toronto still has an outside chance to get in on the weak Atlantic division, and Tampa Bay is still hanging on to a playoff spot after making a bunch of moves this week, going 1-3-0 and being over the salary cap the entire week, and nothing's been done about it. Sellers in the East, easily Philadelphia. PHJ, kid is playing out of his mind.
As he usually does, right? That's his MO.
Deserves to be on a playoff team, hands down. Philadelphia has, in the first 3 games, scored 0 goals of support, given up 2 a game, very winnable games. A lot of things going on over there. Same Montreal's just outside, is making a push, but it might be a little too late. Same with Detroit. Looking at the West, it's a much tighter race in the West. Almost every team in the Atlantic, with the exception of Philadelphia and New York, would make the Western playoffs from the Metro Division. Dallas, Chicago, St. Louis, and even now Calgary, which has gone through a number of ownership changes, should all be buying right now. 43 points is all it needs to take the final playoff spot, with 2 teams at 39 and a team at 35. Vancouver, Phoenix, and San Jose, get your good players out because you ain't making the playoffs.
Yeah, you got that right. Hey, Eric, how's it going with the AHL? Name me some people right now that you think need to sell right away.
Sell. Oklahoma City, you're 14 points back. You got a couple good guys. Sell away. Rockford Ice Hogs, Leafy TV, you're all alone now. Proud gay dad left you. Sell. You're not making the playoffs. Hamilton, sell. And you know who I think is a major buyer? I think WBS is going to be a major buyer trying to close that 10-point gap to Norfolk. So those be my movers and shakers, sellers, buyers. Let's make a deal, Howie Mandel style.
Eric's using this to actually get trade offers. Is that's what's happening right now?
I mean, the best thing I've heard on this show was KB Smith saying that I don't like to do trades. As a GM who's managed for 6 seasons, I don't like to do trades either. I want to keep consistency, core, all that stuff together, and those are usually the teams that win unless you cheat to win, MLGesus. So,
So do you mean to tell me, Eric, now if I'm understanding this correctly, if I could just take a second, what you're meaning to tell me is, if you are a team that, say, last season almost made the playoffs and only missed by a point, for you to go ahead and get rid of almost your entire core defense would probably be a stupid idea?
I've never not made the playoffs in 6 seasons, so I can't answer that. I don't know.
Very good.
I don't know what I would do in that situation. I mean, I've had good playoff teams where people have said the defense is shit, but they really weren't. So, I mean, defense is all a matter of opinion. But if you don't make the playoffs, you should probably retool it somewhat. If you got 3 or 4 guys that are core guys, keep them, wipe the board down, and start over.
Well, it's not working.
that core together.
It's not working for a lot of teams, specifically St. John's sitting down there in 12th. They're 13, 23, and 4, so that's not working out for them too well. I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out to everyone listening.
I'm sensing a bit of a personal vendetta on this one.
Okay, so I'm calling this out right now. Next week, I think it's Wednesday, July 9th at 9:30, I have the only St. John's game, and I have requested to the powers that be that they allow me to play defense in front of my goalie for that game. I'm just saying.
Well, if Lucky Hound and Steeler Kid are listening, lace the gloves up and let's fricking go.
Let's do it. There'll be more on that next week, of course. Now let's jump down into the CHL. Who's moving and shaking down there, Powdah P?
Well, everybody seems to be scrambling right now. I've been in some interesting party chats that I probably shouldn't have been in, talking to some GMs, and it feels like there's about 4 or 5 teams in the WHL that are really talking moving. That's the Chiefs, the Winterhawks, the Americans, and the Silvertips. Now, I don't think they're the teams that need to be necessarily changing things too much. It's the Rockets that are still sitting on the outside, but you don't hear too much out of Camp Kelowna, and it's just one of those things that some teams aren't making enough moves, but I don't think you're ever going to see anything out of the top tier teams just because they've already got the stacked lines. However, I do think that those stacked lines will come back to burn them in the long run, as we saw last year with Ottawa. They dominated the regular season, and then week 1 of the playoffs, their whole line, all their lines were gone to the AHL, and they basically had to forfeit the entire playoffs. And I think that if all this hype around the Blazers and their players and all the guys with their stats, they'll start seeing some AHL playing time and possibly even destroying that season they have going on.
So a lot that can actually happen down there in the CHL, especially when you have so many people coming and going, both for good and bad.
Right, definitely. And you're not really, getting last place in the season does you absolutely no good in the CHL, because one player is not going to make a CHL team on any line. I mean, it's just the CHL is just so far spread out in talent that really having a top pick or any kind of draft advantage isn't really going to pan out, because after bidding, all the real talent's gone unless you have some inside job or collusion going on where someone's signing up late.
Yeah, we'll get into late signups in just a little bit too, but before we do that, we do have a special topic we're going to save for the final shot. We're going to talk All-Stars in the final shot. So everything about the All-Star ballot and bidding and voting and stuff, all of that we're going to do in the final shot, which is right after this show ends. We will talk with all of you in the chat boxes and all the places on All-Star related things, since I do have some people tweeting me about it and the like. So let's keep it on things happening on the site this week, because we know that's kind of a big deal. Something that we kind of touched upon last week and obviously the week before, the toxicity in our city, in our league, LeagueGaming.com. You have 3,200 members, and 100 of them are really active, and 90 of those people are terrible individuals. Maybe not in real life, but definitely online. The toxicity continued this week with MLGesus. Sev, do you want to start what happened? I mean, you probably could speak on that.
Would you really want to give up your topic?
I have a comment on that. I have things I want to say, but if you want to give the backstory.
All right, so
because the thread is deleted.
At some point, I want to say it was yesterday, or even the day before, MLGesus and the KOTOR thread. KOTOR's not exactly the most liked GM in the history from VHL to LG. He's been much better, I have to say, here since the merger, and he has some real life issues going on. I didn't actually get to see the initial what MLGesus posted, but there was some personal information posted. Unsure that it was how accurate it was, but at the same time it was crossing the line by quite a few. But I mean, at the same point, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna defend KOTOR's personal information, but still there's still people that post techno, which is Rob Reese's information in the chat box, his Facebook and stuff, and that gets by. So it's either going to be an all or none, in my honest opinion. And, not defending what MLGesus did, but it's either going to be a ban on all personal information getting posted, or it's a free-for-all. The site staff have to pick, and it's going to be like that against all rulings. It's an all or none.
I do believe, for what it's worth, and especially with the robberies thing, and I said this from the get-go, it should be a none. I am on that side of things. Powdah, your thoughts?
Well, anytime we get into arguing, it always brings me back to, obviously, my favorite quote, which is...
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
And I basically, I live and die by that. But when you start getting personal with people, because I'm not even familiar with the situation on any level. Like, I knew MLGesus, or whatever we wanted to call him earlier. I knew him last year. He was a GM, and I obviously didn't enjoy my time playing, that I did get to play in the AHL lineups. But something was just not sitting well, and I don't know if he's just not a people person or what, but that's my only experience with the guy. But this, obviously, when you cross the line,
Eric.
Let's get one thing straight. If I were to ever challenge anybody to a pay-per-view live fist fight in real life on LG for everyone to watch,
You'd break a wall first.
No, I can punch more than a wall. Anyways, it would be MLGesus in primetime Pope. The toxicity in our city is too much. I have never personally attacked someone, never been an instigator. I've been instigated on just because I put myself out there for my team and no one other than that. And the thing that MLGesus did the other day, I was literally sitting at work in a professional environment, and I was ready to fucking punch a wall, because that kid, what he did, that was so wrong. And for the record, me and Couture, the guy that Jesus targeted, I hate Couture. Me and Couture don't get along. We're not cool. You know what I mean? But what Judas did, that was not cool at all. That he should be banned from the league. I mean, this kid has a history. It's not like this is an isolated incident. He fortified forward stats in the old league. He did it again in this league. He cheated to win a championship. I mean, he got proven that it happened. I mean, his cup is tainted. The AHL season last season was tainted by that championship. I mean, this kid's got to go. And I mean, they'll never kick out certain people because, like you said, 100 people are active, 90 of them are dickheads. Most of them will never be banned. But by what MLGesus Judas just did, that should be a lifetime ban. If someone ever put a picture of my wife's Facebook up there, or my girlfriend's Facebook, or my daughter's Facebook, or my sister's Facebook, and brought it into this internet hockey shit, I can best believe, and you best believe, that I will find your IP address. That is fucking wrong, dude. I will find where you live.
I love when Eric gets fired up, and I definitely...
Who does that? Who does that?
I agree with you.
Who cares that much? I mean, Jesus Christ. I make videos. I own my house. I can punch a hole in my wall if I want over
That's
internet
true.
hockey.
You can do whatever you want.
Exactly, but who cares that much to, call out? If that man's really going through a hard time, who is someone to call him out?
And
that's fucked. It's not an easy world out there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but it's not an easy world out there. You know what I mean? If someone needs help, that's what family's for. And if that man's asking his family for help, it's not anybody on this website's business.
And definitely, especially when you bring kids into it, that takes it to a whole new level. KB, you wanna give your take on all of this?
Oh yeah, I mean, this guy has a history of being this way on the side, and he's taken it to a new level. Absolutely. I think he should be out of here. I'm with Eric 100% on everything he said, and I hope he is out of here. That's all I gotta say.
All right, here's my take on it. And this kind of extends to everything I was saying last week, and Powdah and I have talked about this on ad nauseum. Same with Sev. Anonymity on the internet doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. In fact, I would ask that everyone should take a step back and think hard about this. The availability of this anonymity shows who you truly are on the inside, because your social inhibitions can be and do get put aside. So how do you treat your fellow anonymous virtual denizens? Do you make racist and misogynistic statements without remorse? Are you a raging shithead? Perhaps that's who you really are. Are you happy with yourself for being such a person? Because it's not too late to rehabilitate yourself or better yourself. And if you don't want to do that, we can kindly show you the door. That's my take on all of that. Please give us your comments. Hashtag LG Snapshot. It just doesn't
Screw
end.
the haters.
If I can get 2,000 other people to just pop onto the website, I'll create a French section in a forum somewhere, and I can have all the QCs come join in on the festivities. I'd rather have that than that many raging, lonely, disgusting people flooding the chat box at 10 a.m. every morning. So let's get some more late signups. Let's talk about happy things. Late signups, right?
Oh, this is real happy.
Seb, you want to kind of take the lead on this one?
We bring the real hot takes.
I'm gonna actually defer to KB. This was his topic.
Okay.
I'm gonna let him start it off the right way.
Okay. This is huge for me. I think it takes simulation really out of the question here. With late signups, I mean, just look at the late signups so far. You know, you got people like I Love ND getting randomly assigned to Utica. Some main events. You know, these guys are good. You know, that really takes when you see players like that go to another team. That takes everything at a simulation, I believe. You know, me and Eric can probably sit here and say we worked really hard to get our team, and then these guys just go for 500K late signups, and now they're on a good team producing. And another big issue could be second tags. You know, someone gets banned or something like that. All you gotta do is make another tag, come right to the league. You don't have to play CHL or anything. Get called right up. And it's really a loophole, I believe. So I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Now, I'll jump to Powdah real quick here because I know that there's some conversation happening in the CHL right now on a vote. Either it happened or it is happening about prospects not being able to do that either this season or next season. You have more information on that, I know.
I don't have more actual information on the thread. I knew there were threads made about preventing call-ups in the early on stages, and I think that had something to do with that. And then it got basically shut down because they were explained. Management was told you shouldn't be creating these threads for all these players to see. Then they said, no, wait, you should be creating these threads for players to see because it's a players thing. And it got really political for a minute, and it kind of just died off, I think. And then, once we'll get into the All-Star Game stuff, but that's pretty much what's pretty much flooded the lives of the CHL lately. But these new signups have really shown like where people stand, because it's one thing for somebody to just find out about League Gaming and say, okay, hey, I'm going to check it out, sign up, get put on a TC, no big deal. However, when a guy gets randomly assigned to a team and he's starting in the next game that they're playing, obviously, it's you're messing with the system somehow, some way. I know it's a random assignment, but it's like you immediately see these players going places, whether people are, I don't even know how to explain it all.
It does feel a little unjust, doesn't it? It feels like, and I would agree that from what I read, maybe late signups should have to deal with going through the CHL at least once, especially if they have no history in the league at all. I do believe that. And then as far as people, buying out their bands and stuff, I don't know really how to go about that. Like the whole, we know where you've played, and did you sign up late because you forgot, or did you sign up late because you didn't want to play in the NHL? Like I know XVII and I tried to stay in the CHL for a while. It gets hairy. And if we kind of implement one of our ideas from the first week where, you have to play in the CHL for a certain amount of time to move up because that's your entry league, that might help. I don't know, Sev, what do you make of all this?
So let's be honest with Powdah P bringing up the random assignments. Season 2, CHL, I learned how the system worked. I made sure I waited till everyone else had blacklisted their players and the assignments began. I blacklisted a bunch of people, got Philly James, Kurisu, I can't remember who else, and 2 NHL players, all on my team. Randomly assigned 4 in a row. Waited for it. So you can learn the algorithm and you can cheat the algorithm. It's possible. So that's first things first with the random assignments.
I'll agree. Secondly, on your real quick. don't want to interrupt on you, but that algorithm thing, I wouldn't say I mastered it, but I figured it out myself. I had 3 or 4 friends that weren't dominant and effective in the league, but because they were my friends, I needed some help on my team at the time. I picked them up based off of that system of figuring out when it's going to randomly assign me the next 2 players.
Yep.
Interesting.
So there's that.
That's insane.
And to get back on the old LG system as well. Old LG system, you had to play X amount of games in the CHL before you could get called up. And this, of course, came to prevalence with people loopholing it, getting Tanaka called up after the call-up deadline because they held on to someone until he played enough games for my team. There's a lot of different systems that we could use. I believe it was 6 games in the old LG system you had to play before you could get called up permanently to the next level in the CHL. Late signups, yeah, people like Main Event, people like ND. ND did buy out his man. He wasn't sure if he wanted to play, so that's that one. But what people are failing to realize is ND went for $500K.
Yep.
So while ND may be, $2.5 million center, he can be re-signed at $500K.
It's not the point, though, Eric. It doesn't matter how good they are. It's the fact that they didn't go through the due process like everyone else has to.
I agree. When I saw ND sign up, I pretty much wanted the JE ends with a K off and fucking be like, this is ridiculous. That could never have been allowed back in the league. And that's real talk. And that's a former comrade of mine. He did that surreptitiously. He did that suspiciously. He did that just to do it, just to fuck with people. That's not right.
Now, KB, I know you're chatting in it in our private chat, but I agree with you. CHL players who signed up after bidding should not be able to get called up. I'm like 99% there with you, and I could have sworn I've seen stuff in the CHL about that being impossible to do for prospects but not rookies, or rookies and not prospects, and that's going to go to the next level next season.
The GMs of the CHL are currently voting.
Voting.
While they are not a official voting for amendments, they have no rights right now. They are currently voting on it, so we'll see what the league decides to do from there. But there's so many loopholes with people getting in and out of, getting to the team that they want. Nothing worse, in my opinion, than going a little off the topic here, but we have a draft which is supposed to help the teams, not the players. It's supposed to help the teams, and these players can request trades and get off the team that drafted them. I mean, that's
true.
I think if you enter the draft, you shouldn't have a trade request, period.
Oh, I like that. There's some brilliant ideas that we come up here on the Snapshot. Final thoughts from you on this, KB?
I really like the idea of prospects not being able to ever get called up, or random veterans who sign up late. I think that's in the NHL. You can't do that. I don't know why they don't have it for the AHL as well, because the AHL is just as competitive, and we need something like that in place. Because you look at all these prospects who are on these teams, like Devil's Goalie and Rock Lobster and Supernaut. These are Haunted Avocado. These are guys who can really, help.
Avocado's a big pickup. Boom.
Yeah, that's, and he's going for nothing basically, and
nada.
It's random. Nothing should be random on your roster. I don't think. I think it should be more prepared. And I think it's just giving teams a lot of luck, and I don't like that at all. And I think Iowa's got a lot of it over there with B. McDonald, so maybe he can kind of see what's going on and get it.
We just call it how we see it. We just call it how we see it.
The whole B. McDonald in the AHL is a whole different issue in itself when the commissioner doesn't sign up for his own NHL. But
perhaps there's a good reason.
That's a whole other topic for a different day.
Yeah, that is a different topic. I will say this. Just threw it into my head. Maybe you do like fantasy football and you have a waiver system for every new sign up. There's a waiver system to take that player, and you go into I don't know. There's so much you can do without having to screw it with randomness, especially when these guys are getting called up and playing in the NHL, and it just bothers me a little bit. Right now, we're going to take it over to the rapid fire section of the LG Snapshot here on LeagueGaming.com, where I have my NHL guy, my AHL guy, and my CHL guy go to the threads and come back with comments while I read things on Twitter. We first have Cold as Life saying, love all the episodes, boys, great work as usual, hashtag LG Snapshot. Thanks, Cold as Life. Powdah P retweeting my AGM, who's on vacation right now, on IR right now. Can we talk about how Powdah P is going to take F5's roster Penguins roster spot? No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in the overtime, or in the final shot. That's what we're going to do. Frisha wants to know, are there any dads here by chance? Thank you. I Love ND says, change the cap for every league. 35 NHL, 25 AHL, 15 CHL. To that, I almost agree. And Cold as Life also says there seems to be some butthurt in the CHL over all-star picks. Might be a fun topic. We're going to talk about that in the final shot as well. What do you guys have?
Like normal, the NHL is nothing in the thread.
Usual. That's typical. They want the most but don't ever contribute. That's fitting for them.
In the CHL, we got Cold as Life, just all excited about the show, but that's about it right now.
Cool.
Did Eric make a thread?
NHL. I'm right here. No, I didn't make a thread. Fuck the AHL. Fuck the community.
I told you to make
And
the
there's
thread.
2 or 3 more swears by Eric.
I'm sorry.
He's terrible. He is so terrible.
I'm here for a reason. Let's always admit that.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right. You know what time it is then?
LG Radio.
That being said, Eric, you know what time it is. It's time for the 3 stars and 3 scratches. We're the only ones to do it like we do. Let's get into it right now. Number 3 star.
All right, this is mine. Basically, they've been getting a lot of hatred lately, but they don't get the credit they do deserve. But Bacasmo and Blue Steel organized all 42 teams, all stars, whether they're accurate or not, and they've done a lot of work on the side to make this league better.
Very good.
Thank you.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Meant to do this. Number 2 star.
From the Tampa Bay Lightning, recently traded their Bones Brigade using the advanced stat system. Highest OEE among all defenders at 3 minutes and 57 seconds. And, oh, by the way, he's just killing off penalties at 81.5%.
That's insane. That's insane. Number 1 star.
Number 1 star is the advanced stat system. Yeah, I made myself number 1 star. Get over it, people.
I'm fine with that.
Actually, just from all the work done from F5, I'm Jeff, Jeremy A60. Tris did it all in an afternoon. We
crazy.
still have some things to work out, and we're gonna bring you more stuff. But it's nice to finally see it happen.
ProjectZamboni.com, right?
Yep. Plug.
It's time for the 3 scratches. 3rd scratch first.
Oh, this is mine, and this is my ex-team. Philadelphia Flyers shut out the first 3 games of the week, made trades. They still believe they're in it. Shut out 3 times. Goalies are playing out of their mind right now for them. But they did score in the 4th game of the week. So
Now let me ask you, is that before or after you got traded?
This is all after I got traded.
Ah, that speaks volumes.
I have not been shut out this season.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Probably not, but I'll take it.
Number 2 scratch.
Number 2 is the Quebec Remparts' defensive efforts. They have allowed 153 goals so far, and in 2 games alone, they let up 28 goals and only put in 2. And a really, really weak effort, worst defense in the CHL.
And I don't know why I'm doing this because it should be me, but the number 1 scratch of the night is
MLGesus Judas. You have no disciples. You have no followers. We hate you. Get out of here. Brody, if you're listening to me, if you're listening to us, you've known me a long time. Get this kid off the site. He's worse than Bobby Orr.
Don't let him buy out. Don't let him come back. Ban him. Be gone with him. He's a disgusting piece of low-life garbage trash that has no reason to even be posting on a keyboard. We should probably cut off all 10 of his fingers. That's my thought.
You can only take so many steps over the line before the prison guard shoots you in the head. So
that's it.
Let's put this man to rest.
We should. I completely agree with you. Hey guys, that was episode 3 of LG Snapshot here on LeagueGaming.com. Hashtag LG Snapshot. Stay tuned in just a second. where there's going to be some music after we say our goodbyes. And then when we come back, we will be in the final shot. We'll talk about All-Star stuff. Powdah P, I'm challenging him to a one-on-one, I think, to keep my spot, and we'll talk about some other stuff. Whatever you guys want to talk about, let us know on Twitter, hashtag LGSnapshot, in the YouTube comments, on the chat boxes, and in the threads. KB Smith, thank you so much for being our first guest on this season's show. We really do appreciate it.
Hey, it was a great experience, man. I want to come back for sure.
Definitely. Any last shout-outs, thank yous, anything you want to say, mention?
Not really. Just Calgary, keep it up. They're doing great up there, really trying hard to get back on track, and hopefully they can. Very good.
Eric, anything from you?
Well, since we're thanking NHL GMs, I'd like to thank my NHL GM Vane for going a season and a half with me, putting up with my crazy ass, and for not making one call-up ever. I love you. Let's fucking roll, and you will make the playoffs.
There he goes again. I can't.
There's another swing.
Next week, we're going to teach Eric not to curse. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know how unless I'm in a suit and tie, and I'm definitely in a hoodie right now. So
well, see, that's the problem. You need to dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Oh, gross. We don't get paid for this.
Oh, that's true. Sev.
All right, final shout-outs to my new team, which logo I absolutely despise, the Montreal Canadiens. Let's go get them. And also Mafia Man, owner of, I believe it is Anaheim, will be joining us next week.
Very good. See, that's what I like to hear. And Powdah P, anything you want to mention with what's going on with you down in the sea?
Well, hopefully I'm not in the sea too much longer. However, back at the Spokane Ranch. The Spokane Ranch, I just want to say I want to get the tweet started with the hashtag Trade Dugan and hashtag No More Nepotism. Hopefully that sent the message to my teammates loud and clear on what I'd like to see happen in order to make a successful Memorial Cup run.
I'd like to backdate the rule that no rookies, prospects, or people who've taken a media position in the CHL get to be called up. I fully believe in that. I'm F5 Penguin, the media director here at LeagueGaming.com.
I'm 709.
I'm Powdah P.
And I'm every E.
KB?
And we'll see you guys next. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern time here on LeagueGaming.com. Until then, folks, have a good night.
Don't be scared.
All right, welcome back to the final shot here on LeagueGaming.com. You were just listening to LG Snapshot Episode 3, The Toxicity of Our City. All right, what do we got going on? We got some stuff to talk about. This is the part of the show where we, I guess, go a little bit off the record. We kind of just talk about some random stuff for a little bit. We went long, so we'll keep this part short, but we got two things we want to talk about, and I guess we'll start off with the All-Star stuff.
Well, let's start off with one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's give a big shout out to Proud Gay Dad, since he didn't hear his first one, I guess.
Oh, he didn't get it. He didn't hear his first shout out.
Ew.
He's not in there to make your life difficult anymore, Eric.
Perfect. That's what we need. Okay, so now let's talk All-Star things, because, you know, that's a thing. 3 different formats kind of happening in each of the 3 leagues, and I'm okay with the parity in that. I think it's actually pretty cool. Sev, I know you know a lot about the All-Star selection process. What do you think about all this?
I like that we went back to something that the VHL used before. I know it was touted as a new idea, but you know, this was done my season during the PA. I believe for the AHL it was Nemzer and FSU Connelly who picked for the AHL. It was a really fun process, so I'm glad to see it back.
Me too. I like being able to vote for some captains and then come up with a process and then bring the players into the mix and let the captains kind of duke it out from there. But I don't have enough experience really to know what didn't work in LG. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I like that each committee, and I got to see this being in the media forum, each committee kind of got to decide their own little format and roll with it. I don't know if I like having a million threads in the CHL to really pick each player, and I don't like some of the selection processes that they initially chose, but I think they've gotten the format down to something that works for them. Powdah P, any thoughts?
No, I think the format is actually really cool. It was done, I feel like, in a timely manner. I just think a lot of things were ignored. And basically, if you look at some of the ballots, I mean, I'm a D-man, so that's my primary concern right now is what's going on there. I'm not sure if I got snubbed because I got called up for the week. I'm not sure if it was because we don't count actually playing defense, and if you don't score goals as a D-man, you're not an all-star, because my job is to keep them out of the net and help my team move up the ice. It's not to put it in the net or even make sure I'm on the assist train, because I'm worried about keeping it out.
That's true. Yeah, that's kind of why Sev introduced the advanced stats system here this season, is because we can go a step further than that. But then when you look at the advanced stats, somehow MAXWELL is the number one D-man in the league on advanced stats. I don't know how that happened. Sev.
He paid well.
He paid. Jeez. Oh,
but
man.
The whole reason that you're actually, Bogus Mo told me why you're not in the All-Star voting there, Powdah P, it is because you're getting called up to Albany to relieve F5. That's why.
Is that
everybody knows?
Like,
the fix is in.
Here's the thing. 70% of me thinks you guys aren't joking about that. And that's what's concerning. I've been fearing for my job since like a week ago.
My take, and this is not me bashing you whatsoever. When I first started getting a chance to play for Albany, and I started going through like the numbers, and I was just like, if I were to get called up, where would I be?
You would take F5 Penguin's spot.
And there was 2 names, and you were one of them, and I was like, man, that would be messed up. And then I had a big first night, Sunday night, and I was just like, this could happen. And then I just started giving you shit for nothing.
I need everyone who has access to the management forum. What's the trade deadline's on tomorrow, right?
It is Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay, the 6th, right? Yeah.
You have to sweat it out till Sunday at 5 p.m.
I don't know, man. I would be willing to say that if there was some way for you and I to square up, Powdah P, that we should do that. And if I lose like a man, I would step down.
Well, that's a luxury we don't have here, because this is simulation hockey and the players don't get to choose. Just like I don't get to choose. If I could, yeah, I'd say, you know what, we could do whatever you want. We'll have a running race. I don't care.
I am 100% confident that Maxwell and Jeff would place their trust in our hands to decide this. If we can come up with something that is a legit metric and measured way of deciding this whole competition. Any ideas from you guys?
Breaking news. Now trending worldwide on Twitter. Powdah AHL F5 crash.
Oh, that's just not nice.
Oh, come on.
That's
the masses have spoken.
This is terrible. I mean, look, man. I purposely stayed in the CHL for as long as I did. Just because Lucky Hound's an idiot worse than Freestyle doesn't mean I get to be punished for that.
Shots fired.
Yeah, go with the freestyle one too. I mean, that's pretty big.
F freestyle. See, I said F instead of F-U-C.
Good job,
Dude, this is what you can swear. Come on, man.
You have your show backwards.
Oh my God.
Shitty shenanigans.
God, Eric.
KB, if you haven't been following along, I, just like most people that are popular on the website, I'm not one of those people, but because of my name, apparently that carries a $2 million price tag, just the name F5 Penguin. So I'm overpaid by about $2 million on my $4.25 million contract. Now, part of that is Ozzy's fault. I will completely throw him under the bus here because I can. He ended up on St. John's and said, hey, you should bid on Penguin. I was gonna go for like $3 million, and even then, way overpaid. But then people had to get into a bidding war over me, and I had like 9 teams bidding on me, and only like 8 bids. It was just terrible.
Hey man, I see a plus minus of 13 right now, man.
Is that what I have? Am I a plus 13?
That's more than me, I believe. So,
Hey Sev, real quick, what's my OEE on this? How do I look? Am I doing okay? I don't even know.
Hold on, I'll give you advanced stats in a second.
I need advanced stats on me versus Smith versus Powdah P. That's what I need.
I got to kick in here on the advanced stats.
Please do.
Can we get team advanced stats? Because I want to know if my defense really is the worst in the league.
Yours is.
Can we get? Shut the hell up. Can we get? I want the statistical proving of it.
You know what else I want is their ability to actually click on player names and compare them advanced by themselves. It'd be the best tool in the world for a GM.
It's coming.
It's coming. All of this stuff is a work in progress, guys. Hashtag work in
we got it
progress.
done.
If we say we
Jesus
want
Christ.
Hey, I will say,
people.
remember where we all come from. Just remember where we all come from. That's it. We should all be so thankful for what we have right now.
We should.
Amen.
Amen. Baby Jesus, not Judas. Let's go.
Oh my god. I need these stats. Powdah P, seriously, don't take my job, dude. Like,
no, listen. If it was up to me,
you are stuck in the CHL and you deal with it. Is what you do.
No. That I was told. I was told that I get media director too.
No, that's not a thing. You can't make Funsley requests here. We're not doing that.
What if I said fuck Funsley?
No, see, look, Eric. Now,
personal attack.
Look what that's a personal attack, and that's not accepted.
That's not a personal attack.
That is.
This is off the record.
But I would fuck him. That's not personal. That's a compliment.
No, that's very personal.
I would love to love him.
I don't know how you.
So are we getting Powdah P's AHL stats or CHL stats?
Can we combine them?
Ooh.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
Okay, then
See Can we get a write up by weekend?
How many games have you played in the AHL, Powdah P?
3.
Is that enough?
Enough to what?
He's playing on Albany, so his stats are gonna be inflated. Period.
Yeah,
like
dude.
yours are.
But so are his then.
My stats aren't inflated. I'm doing worse on Albany than I am in St. John's.
Same team.
So let's just go with that.
All right, fine.
However,
do that then.
We'll just start with me. I have 3 games played, 3-0, 8 assists, 4 penalties, or 4 penalty minutes.
Don't worry, I'm pulling it all up.
But,
okay,
but let me
I'm
make
just gonna
sure
break down the basics.
Let me
we'll get back to this later in the show.
Let me ask the question real quick, Sev. But it also takes into account the difficulty of the other teams, right?
Not currently because of the fact of Tris won't give me team stats yet.
Oh, so Powdah P's going to look better because he played against bitch teams. Got it. Okay.
I only got a chance this week. Sorry. Not my fault. I can't choose that.
I'm first line material on this team, Sev. Thank you because of my salary.
We're going to send Albany into a downward spiral.
Hey, I will say that when I was naming my streams #Calderney Devils, I was losing every game. I changed it back to Albany and we're winning again. We haven't lost since.
Yep, another reason. I can't stream for you, but I won't put that curse on us.
Oh man, what else is going on? Nobody is really chatting. Okay, here we go.
Kevin that day.
A bit behind here. Okay, we got some comments here.
Idiot's getting drunk.
Big Rig Hockey. Oh, Big Rig. He says CHL salaries should be on a sliding scale. Anything under $5 million, dollar for dollar, and every million above that should only be 25% per million above that. That's interesting.
Big Rig knows all. He is the smartest guy in the league. He's just a fucking gift from God.
Oh my. Still? Okay. Game X God wants to know who's the top 5 AHL defense and forwards in advanced stats. Isn't that something we can look up on the site?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's on the website, Game X God. Don't be lazy.
He's not Site X God, he's Game X God.
Oh man, KB
Right,
Smith.
do you guys want the numbers?
Yes, I want the numbers. Yes, I want the numbers.
All right. Are we going category by category? Who's the best?
Sure.
Or are we just going to compare who should get the job? I just want to.
Let's do category by category, just to make it more painful for me to listen to you talk.
OZE out of the rankings are Powdah P in the best, followed by F5 Penguin, followed by KB Smith bringing up the rear.
Oh, you put him in that too, just to see? Okay, this
You
is
told
good.
me to.
I didn't know you were actually going to do it.
Yeah. And it only takes me 10 seconds to pull it all up. All right, goals. F5 is the only person that scored a goal in the AHL.
Am I?
F5 is above the other two.
That means nothing.
It means everything.
Assist percentage. Assists. KB is in the lead with 36.1%, followed by Powder at 33.33%, and then F5 just way back there at 11.1%.
I hate all of you.
Scoring factor, KB again, 36.1%, Powder P, 33.3%, and 20% behind is F5 Penguin.
That's not bad. That's okay. That's okay.
Goal support, do you want it from who gets the most or who gets the least?
I am on the least of that. I feel like I am.
No, KB Smith only gets 2.77 goals in support. F5 gets 4.18.
Oh, snap,
Powder
son.
P is up there with 8.
Oh, Jesus.
He gets 8 goals per game when he plays in the AHL
Hey,
of support.
no, it's because I make things happen, obviously.
Well, yeah, power play percentage wise, Powder P at 55.6%.
This is terrible.
Conversion on the power plays, followed by KB Smith at 39%, and then followed by F5 at 38.5%.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Own end effectiveness is another one where F5 wins at 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Followed by KB Smith at 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Powder, do you really want me to read your number?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Followed by Powder at 1 minute and 44 seconds.
That's terrible.
Over a minute less than
Because
F5.
when you stop them at the blue line, they don't have to worry
So
about theirs.
bad. You suck.
Yep.
And then, of course, penalty kill effectiveness. F5 leads again at 75%.
Oh, do
followed by
I?
KB Smith at 68.2%, and Powder, yeah, only 60%.
Look
Sorry.
at
There's your advanced stats. Powder P to the AHL, F5 to get waived.
Wait, why do I...
Continuing on.
Wait.
Albany
Wait.
doesn't need defense. They scored like 9 goals a game.
They need people to help score the goals.
Do they need more people scoring, though? No, they don't.
I'm not scoring.
Why don't
You
they?
are.
They don't need that. You don't know what they need.
I set up the people that matter.
Wait,
in the
okay,
big scheme.
Sev, let's do this. Take a second here. Can I search by team, like team players, like the players on a team?
I don't know. Let me see. I don't know how he wrote it. I haven't gone over.
Because I want to see the
Nope,
overall
you have to search
rankings.
each individual players.
See, I want to see how everyone on the team is doing and see who's the lowest.
Right, because I don't think me and you probably.
Because I'm not. Dom's is.
That's what their name was. I didn't want to call anybody else out without actually speaking with the guy.
I can
What is
give
it,
Dom. I can give Dom some
313?
crap.
All right, let's see.
Doms knows I love him.
Dom's is better than you, Penguin, offensively.
Well, naturally,
lot.
he's a dangler. He's a
By a
natural
lot.
dangler.
But he is terrible in his own end with 1 minute and 38 seconds.
I see that. Yeah.
64% power, penalty kill. Yeah, he's much worse defensively, much better offensively.
So it's Dom's for
I'm
Powder for Dom's
I'm
house.
also better than Jeff for what it's worth. I'm looking at it right
Jeff's the
now.
GM, so I wouldn't call him out at this point because
I can do that though. I'll take his spot and then Powder can move up. Let's do
Done.
that.
Absolute insanity.
Hey,
Do we have something to actually talk about at this point?
Justin Hoot says Powder needs to come back to the CHL. He is needed. I agree.
Yeah, my team is missing me, but like they've been looking a lot better. I've been playing a lot of like club with them. I know club doesn't matter, but looks like they've been stepping it up and moving it in a better direction without me.
All right. Now, I don't think we have anything else to talk about. A lot of people have been quiet. They were
I've been
chatting.
playing FIFA the entire time.
You are terrible.
It's Canada Day, isn't it? If you're a Canadian and you're at home right now, you're pretty much a loser. So
I
I
think
doubt there's many of them out there.
I think that's how that works. And then tomorrow we'll have a lot of people watch it after the fact. So make sure if you're watching after the fact, you're tweeting us #LG Snapshot on Twitter and leave your comments in the YouTube comment section. I think
like a
that's it for
porno
tonight.
clip.
Then I think that's what we're gonna do. Powder, we're playing a 9-round shootout in just a little bit. Prepare for that. Same.
Penguin, are you playing on
Is that-
Wednesday?
I am playing tomorrow. 2 games. I wanted to play all 3. I'm just playing 2.
Do you
I
get
have
to
the
play
third.
Lake Erie's third line again?
I'll play Lake Erie's third line and smash them again. No problem.
Good times. I'll always remember that back.
There you go.
goal
F5
you
hunting third lines.
That's what get wins
Yeah,
anyway, right?
Just one
Trying
game.
to inflate his stats so Powder doesn't take his spot.
I also play tomorrow night against the Phantoms, so
Hey, go hard or go home.
That's it. Go hard or go home. Hey, I'm taking St. John's on. That's for sure. KB, thanks, man, for sticking around. I hope you had a good time with us, man.
Oh yeah, I loved it, man.
We'll love to have you on sometime soon again. All right.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm
Maybe
F5
much
Penguin.
love, much respect.
I'm 709 playing FIFA.
And
Go!
Powdah P trying to find some sixes.
Eric E, what am I doing here?
KB, this is your spot.
Yeah, you got to do this part.
I'm out.
He said I'm out.
That's KB. That's KB Smith, and he's out. Make sure you check out our top 10. I think I did a pretty good job. Tino's got to step up his game for next Sunday, and we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, here on LeagueGaming.com.
For the community.